Our next speaker is probably someone you're a little bit familiar with as well, but maybe not from her prior life where she worked in high tech and healthcare doing engineering, management, project management, a variety of things like that. In 1998, she ran for state auditor, and she actually received the endorsement of the Boston Herald. Her slogan that year, and I hope she'll forgive me for stealing this, was that the referee shouldn't play for one of the teams. In 2000, she ran against Ted Kennedy for the US Senate. She got over 308,000 votes, nearly beating the Republican candidate, Jack E. Robinson. You may remember him. And in 2002, she spearheaded, coincidentally, ballot question 1. It's a lucky number for us. We got over 45% of the vote in 2002. Over 45% of the vote when people said we wouldn't get it. Her grassroots Committee for Small Government gathered over 125,000 signatures this past signature gathering season. So you know who I'm talking about. In 2001, she published How Could I Live Without Filing Taxes? A catchy little song we'll play for you later on. She says small government is possible. Folks, my friend and yours, Ms. Carla Howell.
Where will I go on a beautiful Sunday? Looking for something to make up my mind.
Thank you very much and welcome. What are the 18 things our opponents pray that Massachusetts voters won't find out about ending the income tax? First, $47 billion. That's the total state government spending. They want you to believe that it's only $28 billion. That's only 1 out of the 4 state government budgets. They don't want you to know about the other 3. The politicians call one of those budgets the non-budgeted items budget. Who but a big government politician, a high-tax politician, would come up with a name like non-budgeted items for a budget? Second, $3,700. That's the average amount that each of 3,400,000 taxpayers get back when we end the income tax. That's every year. The biggest tax cut in our state's history and the biggest pay hike that many families and taxpayers have seen in years. Third, $12.6 billion. That's how much the Massachusetts state government collects in income tax from workers and taxpayers to fund part of that $47 billion state budget. Next, 27%. That's how much the income tax will cut the $47 billion state budget. $35 billion. Can someone fix this? $35 billion. That's how much the state government will have to spend after we end the income tax. Does $35 billion sound like enough money to you to run the state government? $35 billion was the state government's budget in 1999 when we had a lower crime level and a stronger economy. I guess it goes to show that lower taxes is the price we pay for civilization. But that's not all. The sixth thing that opponents pray you won't find out, $22 billion. There's an additional $22 billion that Massachusetts cities and towns take from us in property tax, local business tax, and other government revenue and taxes. That's on top of the $5 billion that they get in subsidies from the state. The seventh thing they don't want you to know, $57 billion. Even after we end the income tax, the cities, towns, and state government combined will have $57 billion to spend. Let me say that again. After we end the income tax, after we give back $3,700 on average each to 3,400,000 workers and taxpayers, Massachusetts government will still spend a total of $57 billion every year. Does $57 billion sound like old Mother Hubbard's cupboard to you? Our opponents claim that that's not nearly enough for them to spend. Here's something else they really don't want you to know. $16,700 every year. That's how much the city, town, and state governments in Massachusetts will spend for every worker and taxpayer every year, even after we end the income tax. $16,700 every year is the bill for Massachusetts government after we cut government spending to end the income tax. That's on top of what you must pay for Social Security tax, Medicare tax, other federal taxes, before you even start paying your own bills, pay off your debts, and feed your family. If we vote yes to end the income tax, does $16,700 sound like enough to you for Massachusetts government? Next, 41 cents on every dollar. That's how much voters believe the state government wastes, according to a poll by Fabrizio Surveys. 41%. Ending the income tax cuts state spending just 2/3 of that, 27%. And that doesn't even touch the waste in the city and town governments of this state. Does ending the income tax go far enough? The 10th thing our opponents do not want you to know about, do not want you to even think about, is government waste. The big dig. $100,000 a year sign painters on the Mass Pike, toll takers who get to make change for $60,000 or $70,000 a year, plus benefits. Yes, as Michael pointed out, for making simple change. No-show jobs. Government employees who fish during work hours, who steal parts of the Longfellow Bridge, who steal cash from machines and cash registers. $200 million high schools in rich neighborhoods. $1 billion for rich multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical companies. Bodybuilders on permanent disability leave. Exorbitant government employee pensions, double-dipping pensions, the Quinn Bill, police detail, and fake reforms of police detail. This is just the tip of the trash heap. Just the tip. To find all the waste, we must open all of the government's books. We must look at all of the government agencies and all their outsourced agencies. Here's a few of the government agencies. This is part of it. Do you know what these things are? Have you heard of them? Do you think most of the voters in Massachusetts have heard of what these government agencies are? Is anybody looking at them? We need to open the books not just for the special interests who profit from high government spending. We need to open the books for every taxpayer. Today, the state's government's books are closed to taxpayers. It's easier to find Whitey Bulger than to get meaningful information about how politicians are spending your tax dollars. What are they hiding? If the government's books were open before this election, I guarantee you that question 1 would win by 3-1 in an overwhelming landslide.